Hello and welcome to our tutorial on how to make a flap pocket with an oversized flap, which is part of our 71-2 volute wrapped skirt. Iron on interfacing on the main fabric flap. Place the outer fabric flap pieces right sides together with the lining flap pieces and stitch along both short sides and one long side. Sew only up to the seam allowance at the open sides, notches 1 and 2. Trim the seam allowance at the corners, turn the piece right side out, shape the corners and curves carefully, and press. You can see here that the seam allowance of the long side is not sewn. Mark the pocket opening that are markings 3 and 4 on the main fabric of the flap. Place the pocket flap on the right side of the fabric along the marked pocket opening and stitch it in place, making sure not to catch the lining flap in the seam. Now transfer the markings 3 and 4, which is the opening of the pocket on the main fabric with fabric chalk and with 2 pins, in order to see the opening on the left side of your fabric as well. Fuse interfacing to the wrong side over the marking. Clip the outer fabric flap at notches 3 and 4 up to the seam. Place the outer fabric pocket bag over the flap and stitch it between notches 3 and 4. Place the welt strip on the opposite side of the marked pocket opening and stitch it in place. The seams should be identical in length and be positioned right above each other. From the wrong side, cut open the pocket along the marked line and clip diagonally toward the seam ends to create small triangles. Be careful not to cut into the flap or pocket bags. Pull the outer pocket bag through the opening to the inside and press. Do the same with the welt strip. Press the seam allowances open. Fold the welt strip to the inside so that the welt neatly fills the opening and press. Top stitch from the right side in the ditch of the seam. Fold the seam allowances of the main fabric flap inside the flap and iron well. Sew the lining pocket bag right sides together to the lower edge of the welt strip. Cut excess seam allowance with a shearing scissor. Press the seam allowance towards the lining bag. Place the pocket bags right sides together and stitch around, catching the small triangles in the seam. Cut the bag to one size and finish the pocket bags together using a zigzag stitch. See here that the little triangles were caught in the seam of sewing the 2 pocket bags together. Fold the seam allowance of the lining flap inward and hand stitch invisibly from notch 1 over notch 3 to notch 4 and up to notch 2. Well done! You are finished with this beautiful welt pocket with oversized flap. Please do check out our other video tutorials on YouTube and our sewing patterns that you can find in our shop at sistermagpatterns.com.